I'm starting with dessert first before we go garage sale hunting. I'm making chocolate griddle cakes. So I'll start with 1.25 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm also adding 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. Usually when I make pancakes, I don't sift the dry ingredients, but when you've got cocoa powder, you have to sift it. Cocoa powder always has lumps. And 3 tablespoons of sugar, just to make it a little sweet but not too sweet. The warm cinnamon peaches that I'll serve on top of the pancakes will add most of the sweetness. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Yep, there's why you sift cocoa powder. The lumps are always left at the bottom. Now for the wet ingredients. First I'll melt 3 tablespoons of butter, and while that's melting, I'll mix buttermilk, because buttermilk pancakes are the best. They're the ones you hear about the most, and for good reason. Even though buttermilk is low in fat, it's got a thickness to it, and that makes for fluffy pancakes. And a couple of eggs at room temperature. My buttermilk and eggs are both at room temperature. That way, when I add the melted butter, it stays melted. Pancakes are a treat, definitely. So, chocolate ones, even more of a treat. Add the wet ingredient. And then I stir just until blended. And you've probably heard before that when you're making pancakes, a few lumps are okay. Having a few lumps is your sign that you haven't overmixed the pancake batter, which you don't want to do because otherwise you end up with tough pancakes. And I'm going to add a few more lumps, but tasty ones, chocolate chips. And at the same time, a little bit of vanilla, because these are dessert pancakes. And about 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Oh, that's not enough. You can add more. I'll brush it with a little oil. And then I look for the bubbles to start rising within the center of the pancake. What I'll do is finish making these and let them cool, and I'm going to warm them in the oven while I'm making the warm cinnamon peaches to serve on top of them right before I serve them. I'll finish these up, and then I've got to get myself to Hippo Farms to buy some Bartlett pears.